Mr. Bacon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Admiral Harris, thank you for your leadership and what you're doing and your diplomacy and tact towards Congress. I thank you for that. But I would say it would be professional malpractice if we don't get a budget passed and take care of our military right. I wanted to get your professional opinion for the committee here, just how hard it is and challenging to defend South Korea with the location of Seoul and the number of artillery that North Korea has. Could you just go into a little detail, just the challenges that we're going to face if Kim Jong-un becomes aggressive?
Yeah, it's a very dramatic challenge. So Seoul is, I believe, the most densely populated city on the planet. 25 million people in a relatively small area, within artillery range of the DMZ and the heights north of the DMZ, where Kim Jong-un has a vast array of rocket forces and artillery. Yes. So it does pose a significant challenge.
That's an extraordinary hard challenge to counter.
Right.
Do you think we have enough long-range strike aircraft, air-to-ground, air-to-air, close enough that deters Kim Jong-un, or do we need to add additional permanent presence in Japan, Guam, so forth? I know we have rotating forces, but is it enough to make clear to Kim Jong-un that he will lose across this line?
I believe that the military forces we have are sending the right signal to Kim Jong-un. So we routinely fly B-1 and B-52 flights. Just 2 days ago, we had an operation where we had a ship in the East Sea, Sea of Japan, and on the West Sea with the Koreans. The Japanese were involved, and we had a B-52 fly through there. The Japanese handed off to the Koreans, who then escorted the bomber through the Korean Peninsula to the other side. So this is a pretty complicated operation, and it demonstrated to our allies and friends, and also to Kim Jong-un, that we have this capability, that we can bring these forces to bear from all around the Pacific to focus on him if need be. So I'm pleased with the array of forces that we have in terms of fight-tonight forces. But as I answered a previous question, I am concerned about follow-on forces and the means to get them there, all of which is affected by readiness, which is affected by the budget, and on and on.
It seems to me part of this is a whole government response. Are we doing enough in the non-military instruments of power? For example, in the 90s, we used banking sanctions that I thought were very effective. Are there other things we should be doing to help put pressure on North Korea?
Yeah, sir, I believe that it is a whole government effort, and a whole government effort would be required. And I believe that the different parts of our government are involved in the North Korean problem set.
Should we go back to the banking sanctions? Seems like to me that worked.
Sir, I'm not smart on banking sanctions.
Okay.
So
one last thing. Thinking of Kim Jong-un, he's the grandson of a dictator, son of a dictator. He's been surrounded by people his whole life that tell him what he wants to hear. So we sort of question his rational decision-making on this. But how would you interpret his strategic objectives? What is he trying to pursue? What's his goals with his behavior?
So I believe there's an element of respect that he's going after. I believe he wants to be considered a nuclear state, a nuclear capable state. I believe he seeks unification of the Korean Peninsula to his favor, and I believe that he seeks to have that dominance in that part of the world.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the time.